Welcome aboard Angel's Share, our 47-foot Bavaria. Now it might not look it, but it is actually a little bit chilly. We're moving towards the winter months, so as we sail all year round, I'm going to be showing you how to stay warm this winter whilst out sailing with the fleet. I like to sleep in my thermals, keeps me nice and warm in my sleeping bag overnight, and of course this is going to be my base layer for sailing during the day. I use merino wool. It's really good stuff, keeps you nice and warm first and foremost, but also if you can't find yourself a shower for a couple of days, which sometimes happens on the boat, they won't actually get smelly. I'm starting to feel a little bit self-conscious standing here in just my thermals, and I'm sure you've probably had enough of them anyway, so I think it's time to get some more kit on and warm up even more. The next layer is an important layer. We're going to be talking about the mid layer. I like to spend a little bit of money here because you can get these one-piece mid layers that are really effective, keep the wind out, keep the chill out, and it's just, yeah, it's worth getting a good one, although you can save some money elsewhere. So Musto make a good one, and I would say this is probably the best investment I've made in clothing in terms of staying warm on a boat. So it's good that it's a one piece because, you know, it just can stop, for example, like there's no gap between your legs and your back, so there's no danger of the wind and the chill getting in. So it's quite snug, and yeah, it's quite tight fitting as well, so not helping the self-consciousness very much, but there we are, this is what we have to do. But yeah, it certainly does the job. Next thing, pretty standard pair of socks here. I go for long ones so that I can tuck my long john thermals into them. So there's another reason you do your socks like that, and that's so when you come to putting your boots on, which we'll see in a bit, nothing's going to ride up and expose itself to the cold air. Just a standard t-shirt now, just going to chuck this on. Lots of thin layers, keeps the heat in and stops you from being too bulky when you're trying to move around the boat. This next item of clothing is something that not everyone agrees on. Probably the best thing to wear is like hiking trousers or some sort of lightweight synthetic. Hiking trousers are good actually, but I often find myself wearing jeans. I just find them hard wearing and comfortable. Everyone likes a good pair of jeans. Only thing about jeans is if you get them wet, they're going to stay wet for a long time. So that's when the rest of your clothing comes in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Jeans, are they a yes or a no? Right, next item, absolutely essential. I don't think there's going to be any arguments about this one. A fleece is what you need, okay? So I have just today got this Montaigne one. Your fleece actually can be anything from, you know, 20 quid up to hundreds potentially, depending on where you get it. To be quite honest with you, I'm happy with mine, and some people even put two on. You can put a thin one on and a thick one over top, but this is the absolute best thing to combat the cold. So you want to make sure that it fits nice and snug. Again, we're trying to minimize air gaps in the whole kit setup here. You want it to be big enough that it can fit over and above all your other layers. Right, so I have got some foul weather gear with me, but I personally like to avoid wearing those unless it's really raining and I'm likely to get wet. So more often than not, if I needed another layer over and above what I've got on and it's not raining, I'll just wear like a lightweight jacket. I don't like to be wearing foulies if I know I'm going to be really active around the boat. So if I'm racing, for example, and it's not raining, I like to reduce the bulk of my gear so that I can move around more easily. And also, if you're moving around a lot, you want to worry about overheating now. This is a Musto Corsica jacket, but if I'm completely honest, again, you could probably get some sort of raincoat. It's fleece lined, so I get quite a lot of warmth from it anyway. And then if it starts to really chill up, I can start obviously doing the zips up a bit tighter to my neck, like so. I've also got some little cuffs here that again just help keep the heat in and the cold air out. Right, moving on to footwear. These are my Dubarrys. I've had them for years. They're super comfortable. I think aside from the mid layer, they're probably the other item that you should be thinking about investing some money in if you're going to be doing a lot of winter sailing. There are some sort of cheap options out there. So for example, lots of pairs of socks and some extra large wellies, preferably non-marking and light soled. They can do the job, but definitely if you're going to be doing a lot of sailing in the winter, get yourself a decent pair of boots. So ordinarily I'd put my boots on now if I wasn't going to be wearing my foulies. Don't need the foulies today, but I'm going to show them to you anyway. If I'm going to put my foulies on, I better take this off, otherwise I'm going to be a bit too bulky, and not only that, they're massively waterproof, so any sweat that's wicking or anything like that will just be retained. Right, so we're lucky enough at Turn to Starboard to be supported by Musto. So all of the kit in terms of your outer layer, your foul weather gear, is going to be Musto stuff. This is my set, and first of all it's going to be the salopettes. So all of this stuff is available for you to borrow when you come down and sail with us. Only difference is yours will be navy blue. So as you can see, I'm fully protected against the possibility of bad weather, all sealed up. I've even got a nose guard. As you can see, it's actually not raining today, it's quite sunny, starting to warm up a bit, so I think it's time to get some of this kit off. Right, let's talk about accessories for keeping warm now. So you might have seen in one of our videos, Dan's got some tips about gloves himself. So if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. But here's some of the best ways to keep warm over and above what we've already talked about. Right, so you can get the sort of neck warmer snood type things. I was given this one during my time at Clipper around the world. So obviously Buff make these as well, they do really good ones, and you can get thinner or thicker ones. So sometimes just to seal that gap around your neck is a really good idea. If you want to go a step up from there, I've got this fleece sort of balaclava type thing. Okay, so sometimes I'll wear it around my neck, or if it's really cold, I'll come up like this and do that up at the top, so it can be one or the other. And then if you want to be even warmer than that, your beanie on over the top. I've got my lucky Christmas beanie as it's coming up to Christmas. It's always the extremities of your body that get cold, okay? You lose a lot of heat through your head. So you've seen the hood from the foul weather jacket, that obviously helps, but if I've got this on underneath it, helps to retain a lot of heat. Also, if you're out for a long time, your nose will start to get cold, so I like to be able to just put that bit up there like that. Moving on, I think I'm going to take this off now, it's probably a little bit warm in here for it. So gloves, really important. I personally like to have two kinds of gloves on the boat. So I've got a pair of pretty standard winter gloves that anyone might wear. If you want a little bit of a top tip, if you want to stay extra warm over and above, you can put some marigolds on underneath these, and that'll keep you warm and dry. Really good tip that, very cheap as well. But any old pair of gloves for on the helm. But then I like to have a pair of gloves that I can sort of work in. I think Dan mentioned some fleece lined building gloves that are really good for this. But I do like to spend a little bit of extra here, and I've got these fantastic dinghy sailors gloves. Right, so I've got these on now, a couple of holes here and there, they still do the job, they have been well used. And then over the top of them, I like to put these ones on. So if I was wearing my lightweight jacket or my fleece, I'd probably do the cuff up over that to maintain another seal. But the real point of these is that they're absolutely brilliantly made. They've got like a really strong lining, so you can do all your rope work with them. They're sort of stitched in a way that they're fully articulated, so you can do all your knots and everything without any of the fabric getting caught up. I really like these because it means that my hands are still quite dexterous, but I am able to stay warm in them as well. So some of the best days that I've ever had out on a boat have been in the winter. Now, it's likely that everyone will get cold to a point eventually, But when you're out and you're one of the only boats out there and it's absolutely stunning on a crisp, clear day, I've got to tell you, it's always worth it. Following these tips that I've given you today should keep you warmer for longer, maximise your enjoyment when out sailing in the glory of the British winter. Final tip, if there's really nothing else you can do and it's getting extra cold, best thing we can do is put the kettle on, which is what we're going to do now. Have a good day.